What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Tubeway Army, and we're back with the final tune on the initial or standard version of Replicas 1979, though I should point out that there's a part 2 or a second version of the tune we're going to listen to in the folder, and I believe there's also some other different mixes of tracks that we've already heard. So I don't believe we're quite yet done with Replicas, at least if we're going to go through the extra tracks, but as I said, this is the first of 2 tracks given the same name, though this one is just given the name I Nearly Married a Human, whereas the second track is I Nearly Married a Human 2. So in any case, I feel like this is once again very much in the same conceptual thematic territory as a starting point as a number of the tracks on both this album and going back to the self-titled album. So it feels like we'll be in a territory where we're discussing the way in which future android/robot beings will perhaps interact with living, breathing, or perhaps better flesh and blood humans, and perhaps the ambiguity or complex nature of that, but in circumstances that speak to our desires and interest in a more psycho-emotional or even carnal sense. So yeah, nearly married a human is a funny thing to say, and perhaps it's something that an android or a robot might say. So let's find out what it's all about, or at least what I can catch on a first listen. This is I Nearly Married a Human, the regular version, although when I come back the next time for Tubeway, we'll be listening to I Nearly Married a Human 2. So here we go, I Nearly Married a Human, the first version by Tubeway Army. Oh, wait, sorry. It would help to have your speakers turned on, wouldn't it? It probably would be a good idea. Think like Vangelis type stuff. did fade, okay. Insane. And, I mean, it's a fantastic tune anyway, but as an album ending track, like on the actual album, that's phenomenal, monumental. That's an incredible tune. Again, big Vangelis vibes on that one for me. Maybe less so when the syncopated beat comes in, which it seemed to alternate more regularly and rapidly in the latter half of the tune, whereas we waited a long time for the first iteration of the syncopated beat to come around. But again, I felt like I was watching a sci-fi movie. It's interesting though, because being aware of the themes that have been running through Tubeway Army / Gary Numan's work up until this point, including on this album, it's like my brain is framed around the idea of, again, robots, androids, things which are not fully human in a biological sense, but which, you know, that attribute may be becoming less relevant in certain contexts in their interaction with humans. But as I'm listening, I'm hearing or seeing big structures, like alien in design. I'm seeing intricate workings of different pieces, whether factory or perhaps biomechanical. So it almost gave me more alien vibes than robot or android vibes. But I think it fits very well in the idea that a not fully biologically human being would perhaps create things very different than humans, and therefore, there would be this exotic experience in that it would be, and perhaps it'd be that uncanny valley thing where it's very much like humans, but it's the fact that it's that close but not it actually makes me feel uncomfortable with it. So I don't know, I was having my own sci-fi exploration during the track. So a very cool tune and a bold one to finish a record with. And again, this is 79. I get how significant that would be, in that this is in popular music, whereas perhaps Vangelis, he was making these soundscapes in the 70s and so on, but perhaps that is just seen as this own separate thing. So bringing those types of sonics to a pop music environment, and my understanding, the music press was perhaps maybe more than in other cases just relentlessly critical, and to the point where he eventually was I'm not going to be touring, and just felt like he was not being embraced by the music establishment, but obviously built up a lot of fans, a dedicated fan base. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm beginning to get more of a sense of how significant something like this would be in 79. Although again, having gone through early Human League and so on, I get that it wasn't the only game in town starting to use electronic sounds more significantly. But I do appreciate the pioneering role he and his Tubeway Army have played. In any case, I will stop babbling, but a really cool tune. Looking forward to hearing the second version, or 2. And then after that, as I said, I'll see what else is in that folder. I think there are some alternate mixes of tracks that we may have already heard. So I will see what's available, and we will go from there. And at some point, we will go back to the solo Gary Numan album that was abandoned many a moon ago, as we then jump back to start going through Tubeway Army. So yeah, Pleasure Principle, trying to say that 5 times fast, will return in the future. But for the time being, I look forward to part 2 of this tune. Let me know what you think of part 1, and I will see you next time. Peace.